Hi, this is Gopi. As part of AWS penetration testing, in this video, I'm going to show you how to grab secrets from AWS environment using SSRF attack on AWS EC2 instance. You will be learning through this demo accessing AWS environment through read-only access and detecting IAM misconfiguration and gather credential using the misconfigured access, do the elevated access and detect instance metadata and SSRF vulnerability. For this demo, I am using my AWS Cloud and also I am using Ubuntu, a Linux client. I am using from outside of the cloud, not using in my cloud environment. CloudGoat, vulnerable AWS environment, built to simulate some of these vulnerabilities. To simulate vulnerabilities, I am going to show you how to detect and find out the misconfiguration. CloudGoat is a vulnerable AWS environment, can be installed remotely. First, you need to install CloudGoat in your remote system, which is outside of your AWS. In my case, it's Ubuntu system. For installing CloudGoat, you need to have the requirements mentioned here. Once you install and configure the required application, it is easy to install the CloudGoat. There are multiple scenarios available in CloudGoat to practice. You can simply deploy those scenarios using simple CloudGoat command. It is very simple to deploy. This is my Ubuntu Linux where I have installed CloudGoat. First, you need to configure your profile, CloudGoat AWS profile. Second, you need to whitelist your local IP. So that's what I am doing here. So it is whitelisted my local IP. Now I need to configure read-only profile. So I have already configured. So in my credential file, AWS credential file, I just enumerated IAM configuration through my read-only access to find which resources I have what access. Here I can see I have permission to get Lambda function. I understood from my previous IAM enumeration, I can list or get Lambda functions. Through AWS CLI, I am just listing Lambda function which I can accessible. In the listed Lambda function, I could see access key and secret key of another user. I have configured the stolen user profile to my AWS credential file. I already configured that stolen profile in my credential file. With that stolen user, I am just listing the EC2 instances which I am able to access. I could see one EC2 instance up and running. I'm just noting down that public IP. Using Nmap, I could see the open ports of the particular public IP. The instance metadata service is a feature for EC2 compute instances in AWS. You can access the instance metadata from the instance using link local IP. By default, instance metadata required any token to view. If instance installed with web application and it's vulnerable to SSRF, you can exploit access key and secret key using this metadata. AWS recommended to configure instance metadata version 2. From the stolen user profile instances, I am checking whether the instance metadata is version 2 or not. It's using the older version and it's vulnerable, and you can access metadata information through SSRF. As per my Nmap output, I could see port 80 is open, and opening the IP through my browser, it says URL parameter is missing. As I know, the instance metadata is not secured, and I am trying to explore instance metadata through SSRF. As per the output of instance metadata, I could see EC2 role, and I am exploring the role. Finally, I got credential for that role. As a read-only user, I am able to explore the AWS environment and discover that I can list Lambda functions in that account. Within the Lambda function, I could find AWS access key and secret keys from to a different user, which is belongs to a different user. With that stolen user details, I was discover an EC2 instance running a web application which is vulnerable to a SSRF vulnerability. Exploiting the SSRF vulnerability via the URL parameter, I am able to steal AWS keys from the EC2 metadata service.